There is a specter hanging over the United States right now. It is not political. It is not geopolitical. It is the specter of gay conversion therapy. It is legalized psychological torture, and the practice must be banned in order to promote health in the LGBTQ plus community. The practice is bad, it causes numerous harms, and public opinion is turning against the practice. Now, before I continue, I would like to bring up a short trigger warning. I will be briefly discussing sexual assault in this video, but however, it will be very brief, and it is only to ensure that you understand the true magnitude of this problem. So first and foremost, gay conversion therapy is understandably a nightmare for LGBTQ plus youth. The Conversion Therapy Survivors website tells us that gay conversion therapy techniques range from simple counseling appointments all the way up to physical abuse that almost borders on torture. There was an editorial in Time magazine a few years ago from a survivor of gay conversion therapy who told us that even the lighter forms of the practice can still cause lasting negative effects on its survivors. The Conversion Therapy Survivors website gives us insight into some of the Vietnam-like torture techniques that are used in gay conversion therapy settings. These include electrocution, forced gender role conformity, and lastly, forced exposure to heterosexual porn. But however, as terrible as all three of those things are, it does not end there. The Southern Poverty Law Center tells us that in addition to forced nudity around members of the same sex, and this is the most horrific, there is forced reenactment of sexual abuse. So if you are sent to gay conversion therapy in one of the more brutal settings, there is a very strong chance that you will be forced to reenact sexual trauma that occurred to you earlier in life, all in order to make you think about, is this what made you gay? And then maybe if you're going through the reenactment, the person engaged in the reenactment with you can say, oh, well, no, this isn't making you happy. This is causing you to be sinful. You can see how twisted this practice is. And it makes you question why this is still legal in the vast majority of the United States. CNN reported after the tragic death of Leila Alcorn that she had been seeing a Christian counselor in order to help take care of her gender identity issues. But however, they didn't help her. She ended up committing suicide, in part, at least, to those appointments. But however, I myself have experienced a very life form of gay conversion therapy. I ended up delaying my coming out by over a year, just in order to make sure that I would not have to undergo gay conversion therapy at any point in my life, which ultimately is not working out because I'm currently going to see a counselor who is a Christian counselor, but however, I am often asked the question, well, why do you think you're a woman? Why do you think this happened to you? What caused this? And the therapist is very good at asking questions in such ways to make him sound thoughtful and to help foster a kind of thoughtful process in your head and make you question yourself that ultimately makes you hate yourself. And I have experienced a serious decline in my mental health over the past few months ever since I've been attending these sessions. But however, the biggest reason that I am relatively well off right now is because I know that who I am is not problematic. I understand that my gender identity is not a problem. I understand that who I am is perfectly normal. And the Advocate reflects my sentiment when it reported that those who suffer the most from gay conversion therapy are those who did not know what they were getting themselves into. I had an idea of what I was going into. I had a chance to do a little bit of research, and that research very well may have saved my life. Leila Alcorn didn't have this chance. Many others who have committed suicide or even died in camps didn't have this chance to know. They have suffered the most. Which ultimately brings up a very sad fact about gay conversion therapy, and that is that it simply does not work. The Human Rights Campaign reported that in areas where there are accepted gay conversion therapy practices, those same areas are a breeding ground for homophobia and transphobia and other sorts of discrimination and bias. And the American Psychiatric Association notes that for all of the so-called benefits of gay conversion therapy, you cannot have a cure for something that is not a disease. You cannot fix something that is not broke. You cannot fix an engine if it is running just fine. If you try to fix something that is working, you're going to have the opposite effect. You're going to break the thing that is working. And crucially, the Southern Poverty Law Center tells us that there have been severe mental illnesses linked to gay conversion therapy, and these include depression, anxiety, self-harm, all of which can lead to suicide, as we saw in the case of Leila Alcorn. But lastly, gay conversion therapy is losing in the court of public opinion. Despite what Vice President Mike Pence supports and believes, only 8% of the American population believes that gay conversion therapy actually works. And that was from a 2014 YouGov poll. And according to the Williams Institute in the UCLA School of Law, 71% of Floridians, 64% of Virginians, and 60% of New Mexicans believe that gay conversion therapy should be banned for minors. And keep in mind that these numbers are on the low end of the spectrum. And after the death of Leila Alcorn, President Obama ultimately rode the wave of public opinion, and he moved to ban the practice. But however, it has only been banned in 11 states plus DC for minors, and it remains fully legal in 39 out of the 50 states. This is an abomination. But however, there are those who do say that gay conversion therapy should be legal based on either tradition or religious practices that essentially allow them to believe that gay people, bi people, and trans people are not present in society, or some would even say real. And many of these proponents of gay conversion therapy cite the numerous number of ex-gays that are out there, including Exodus International, one of the most notorious ex-gay groups. But however, there are problems with these statements. For one, in Bill Maher's film Religulous, he featured Pastor John Westcott, who was an ex-gay, but however, about a year or so after the film came out, he ended up divorcing his wife, and some say that he started a same-sex relationship. But however, the two founders of Exodus International ended up divorcing their wives and got into a same-sex relationship with each other before one of them passed away. A sad ending to a story that could have been so much happier all the way through. But there are also those who want to enter gay conversion therapy. They don't want to be gay, or they don't want to be trans. But you have to ask yourself, why are they wanting to enter therapy? Is it because of social pressures that's making them believe that there's something wrong with them? Or do they truly just not want to be gay? Do they truly just want to be straight? Either way, you have to question whether or not they know what they're getting themselves into. And you have to remember the Advocate article that I cited earlier. Are they putting undue harms on themselves simply because they don't know what they're getting themselves into? It's a terrifying prospect, and it crystallizes why we need to ban gay conversion therapy. It's a barbaric practice, and it needs to come to an end. As I stated earlier and throughout this speech, it is bad. It has caused and continues to cause numerous harms to the LGBTQ plus community, and is losing in the court of public opinion. And this is crucial. Lastly, no matter what anyone says to us, no matter how many of us are beat down, this mission will never end. 6 words may break our hearts, but our heels will always elevate us. Thank you. Okay, so now that I've finished the main part of this video, I want to address a few things that are kind of problematic in today's society. Of course, the largest of which is the fact that we have a gay conversion therapist proponent, or gay conversion therapy proponent in the White House right now, in Mike Pence. Yeah, it's pretty cringeworthy. But even more frightening, and this was featured in a 2020 special, either in 2016 or 2017, and it's that gay conversion therapy camps are still widespread. Some of them are under the guise of boarding schools, others are just open about what they do. And I truly fail to understand why gay conversion therapy is still being allowed to exist in this country. I understand that there's a vast number of people on the religious right that say, oh, gay conversion therapy is fine, there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't cause any harms. It cures people of homosexuality. It brings people closer to God. What about people like me? Those of us who don't believe in an active God? What about those of us who believe in a watchmaker type of being? What about those of us who are flat out atheists? Your argument doesn't hold up. Your argument is based on faith, and faith is not enough of a justification to put many people through serious harms day in and day out. I urge all of you that are watching this video, if you're still watching, please call your congressmen and senators, or call your state legislature representatives. We can get the ball rolling. The spirit of activism is present in all of us. The spirit of activism is bigger than all of us. It is bigger than me. It is bigger than all of you. Together, we can all represent the spirit of activism. Those of us who have died in the past, those of us who are going to be born in the future, those of us who are alive now, we hold the torch of activism. We are the ones who can continue this fight. We are the ones responsible for owning this fight. We are the ones who can win this fight. I thank you so much for watching this video. Please, if you think that anyone needs to hear this, feel free to send it to them. I'm not going to ask for a like or a subscription to this video. This is bigger than that. This is bigger than all of us. Do whatever you can to get this practice banned. There is no reason why it should still be allowed to exist in this country. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.